Happy Friday, traders. It's 8 a.m. Chicago time on Friday, the 22nd of May, 2020. Thanks for joining me on episode number 1761. This morning, derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This morning, we have really a mixed bag after risk off pretty deep overnight in the U.S. indices and the S&P. The S&P is trading around 2940 currently with a low of 2903, slipping down on the European Open. So risk off sentiment. However, the DAX is up. Let's see. I don't see a holiday today, so yeah, the DAX is live. The DAX today is up 0.55%. Gold is up 0.86%. Gold's trading at 1736.70, up $14.80, and is the leader on my quote board this morning, followed by the DAX. The Russell's up 6.8 points, up 0.5%, and the Euro stocks are up 12 points or 0.41%. So it was risk off, and then the market has recovered and trading at or close to unchanged or kind of mixed this morning. Crude oil is weakest. If you recall, crude oil, I talked yesterday about 2034.46 being a key multi-confluence resistance area and a potential turning point. I posted a chart of it on in Convergence Head Trader channel, and currently it's off 4%, trading at 32.60 on the July contract, down $1.32. The Nasdaq's up half a point or 0.01%. That's where we stand. Again, mixed to a slight skew to risk off after selling off this morning and recovering, and basically putting in what looks like a nice probe lower and pushing higher. Looking at the calendar this morning, we got very little really last night in terms of releases. We did have Canadian retail sales release just now, came in at negative 10% month on month. Expected it, the consensus was negative 10%, so right on. Looking forward, we have ECB's Lane speaking at 10:30 Eastern, and then we have the Baker Hughes rig count at 1 p.m., and that wraps it up. I want to remind everyone that it is a holiday on Monday here in the United States. It's Memorial Day, a day to commemorate the fallen during past wars. And it signals the beginning of summer as well. And it's likely, and as a result, speaking of human behavior, not because of what the holiday's for, it signals the beginning of summer here in the United States, and it also generally signals that the market is likely to make its moves early, and then people kind of run out and start their summer. So I'm expecting the moves to occur early and for it to be a bit of a grind today. That's the common thing. Volume likely to drop off, and a relatively quiet, choppy session in general. Now, the exchanges are open. The futures exchanges are open till 12 Central, 1 Eastern on Monday. If you're trading, make sure you're aware of the emergency numbers for your clearing firm in case you're in trouble. Best not to trade, really. So that's where we stand. And by the way, Tuesday's session will technically start Sunday night and run through all of Monday and carry over into Tuesday, and that's considered one session for margin purposes for some of you who like to trade near your margin limits. So that's where we stand. Let's take a look at what was expected yesterday. In our review segment. So yesterday, the big play and the discussion revolved around revolved around the idea that we're very, very likely to top out. We broke lower in the overnight session. And we're likely to top out given the balance on Wednesday, and we're likely to explore lower. Yesterday, I was targeting 29.39.50 for the overnight stat to the downside, and I put these lines here as to the critical test areas, those being the 29.48.50, the 29.41, the 29.32 and a quarter, and the 29.20 being the big one. And that's scenario one. Here's what actually happened. So remember what I had talked about here, 29.48, 29.41.50, 29.32 and a quarter, and 29.20 as the key test areas. Here's the action from yesterday on my trigger chart. It pushed up. Let me get rid of these other charts. They keep obscuring my view. We pushed up into 73, by the way, was two ticks short of the overnight high. We turn around and we get really choppy, and it wasn't really, we didn't get any clarity really until we had this impulse down, this move down. And so now we're jonesing for what? We're looking for any reference point for a test, IB low, mid, VWAP area, this whole area here, looking for a continuation trade. And we get the continuation trade, and where does it go? 29.33. Remember, the next level down below 50 was 41.50, which was the overnight low. So we took that out to fulfill the overnight stat, to go in line with the overnight stat. But also, we pushed to 29.33 and the stock zone, which remains there as you see it there for today at 29.32 and a quarter, 29.32 and a quarter. And then from there, we get the bounce. We get a beautiful bounce back to mid prior low and VWAP, pretty wide zone, relatively wide zone at 52.25, 52.25, 53 with 54.50 to back it up. So on a 4-point stop, you have you're able to hold on, and that trade was worth approximately 12 points or so. If the image is blurry on your screen, here's what you got to do. I'll show you this. Here's what you got to do. If you're watching this on YouTube, go down to the settings, click on quality, and set it to 1080p. I'm broadcasting in 1080p. If you're on the Edge Clear website, then just hover over the video and find the YouTube button, click on YouTube, then it brings you to the YouTube version, and then switch to 1080p. If you don't have the 1080p option, then YouTube has determined that you don't have the bandwidth to watch it in 1080p, okay? So that's where you would get a crisper image. It should be as crisp as I'm seeing it here. Anyway, after this rotation down, it was worth about 12 points or so. After this rotation down, it was just a chop fest. You can see here that we really built a nice big fat zipper in this area, migrated, built the point of control lower. So we've migrated yesterday's point of control, the prior session's point of control, from 29.68 all the way down to 29.44. This is in line with exactly what was expected and talked about yesterday, and that is we are expecting it to top out of balance, and we are expecting it to start moving lower. We're expecting lower highs, lower lows, and you'll see it quoted in yesterday's video if you turn on the captions that I'm expecting one-time framing down to begin with yesterday's session, and that's what it did. And it was kind of easy to see. We're playing probabilities. Anything can happen here. It's not like I have a crystal ball. I don't. But it was kind of easy to see that we're likely to explore lower yesterday, and this chop fest here is a scalper's paradise. But all in all, the early trades were relatively decent. A small secondary setup was right here. A little impulse down with the pullback to the prior zipper for continuation. Also set up there. These are kind of microstructures that I like to look at. So that's yesterday's action. We ended up with a normal variation day. Down, we ended up with the point of control lower, value lower, below the prior day's low, and that's where we stood. So, in terms of the overnight action, that would not be the overnight chart. In terms of the overnight action, here's what went on. We opened back up right down here. We popped higher immediately and started migrating back towards that big zipper. The top of the zipper is around 54.50. We went to 52.50. That's the high of the session, and then selling ensued. And then, the European markets opened right here. More selling to continue. So this is on a 15-minute. This here was an impulse pullback continuation, and we are in a kind of a corrective stance. The point of control has shifted up now, and it's giving us mixed signals. The point of control in the overnight session is coming into line with the point of control of yesterday. So this is a kind of a caution flag. This is a caution flag for the shorts here that the squeeze may be on. You can see that the delta has done a really nice migration, has followed price. Price is much more impactful when delta is going with it, and now the delta is coming back. We're at the session open, and the delta is flat, and so we don't have a divergence here. The market, the delta is confirming price, and so pay attention this morning to how we treat the overnight high. If we start to squeeze through the overnight high, we're watching for 54.50 is the additional frontier. Above there, 29.60, this low volume node here from yesterday becomes important. Why is there such a lag on my chart? 2960 right here becomes really important. Once we take out the 2960, we're likely to blast through and break the most recent high and continue to migrate towards the levels above 2984, 88, 90, and 3000. So that's what we've got for today. Remember, we're going into the big thing to remember today. We're going into a long weekend holiday in the U.S. So there's likely to be some maneuvering into the close. I will not be here. I'll be traveling back to Chicago. But overall, just keep an eye on that 54.50 and then 60 above. If we hold above there, we're well bid, and we have the delta moving with us. Then you will, in my opinion, you'll want to lay off the shorts and pay attention to the long side in that case. Looking at the order flow, let's zoom it back in. I am really putting this laptop to the test here, despite the powerful CPU in it. Here's what we've got. We've migrated down overnight. We've got some really clean, clear liquidity pools in the overnight session that were actually traded out. So you could see that there's just liquidity areas. This one canceled. There's liquidity areas that tended to form, and then the low was a direct collision with a very, very deep liquid area. And then on the way up, we've collided with liquidity areas again on the way up, and we're continuing to do so. There's activity on both sides of the market this morning, but this is a very clear V bottom, and you don't generally want to fade those. We want to see failure on the open. We want to see failure to continue through the overnight high and an impulse down before I'd even consider looking on the short side. So that's the order flow showing that there's some liquidity up there at 29.50, which we would expect. We expect that liquidity to stick. Again, it's a mid-century figure, but the job looks done. The job looks done to the short side, and it looks like it has moved far enough to the downside to have found its buyers at 29.03. Okay, so as we look above 29.50, some liquidity beginning to form at 29.66. Remember, 29.60 is the low volume node in this region. I don't expect a wide range today. It's not the end of the month or anything, so we'll see. So we'll see how that goes. So that's the heat map by CT Bookmap. Now let's set up for today. Yeah, look at this. It's taking forever to paint my charts. I just need to pare things down. I'm just killing this rig. Okay, let's move on to what we're expecting for today.
News from China, the CAAC says they're to begin allowing some flights from the United States in June. That's according to the 21st Herald.
For today, okay, I've got this chart set up. Sorry, it's very laggy over here. CPU running at 94%. Okay. Probably don't need half the crap that's open right now while I'm broadcasting. Here we go. The primary scenario here, given what we've done, remember on this chart, the overnight low is way down here, 29.0375. We're currently trading way up here, 29.41 on top of the overnight point of control, which has migrated up. Okay, so it's represented, the overnight point of control is represented at the upper end of the range with multiple distributions. What this is likely to tell us, what's likely to happen here is we're likely to get a small response down into that 32.25, looking for an impulse through the overnight point of control and then a push into 54, 50, 60, and then a poke higher and then consolidate for the rest of the day. I do expect, I'm looking for a lower low here. I'm looking for one-time framing down to continue. I'm looking for a lower low, so it may poke through by a bit. Who knows? Looking for a lower low, lower high. The overall point of control is expected to remain in the same region, probably migrate. Expect the overnight point of control to be somewhere around 50. I'm expecting a profile that kind of looks like this with a point of control here at in the 50 zone. That's scenario one. So lower high, low again, looking for a point of control that's shifting up and the market moving into bounce. You could see on this profile here, which I have to extend forward. 1 second, let me do that. You can see there's a ton of volume right in here, right? And we have this, you can see there's a stock zone at 29.56. That's the low volume node above. And then we have another low volume node at 60. Above that, this is expected to be the defense area against the shorts and a place for it to kick back and move towards the MC point of control. And I expect it to get trapped in here in the 29.4850, 29.50 area. That's the primary scenario. The secondary scenario is an open that pushes immediately to the overnight high, expends the remaining energy on this push up, and then reverses back into the open, consolidates into the opening swing, and then starts to make its shift down. Come on, mouse. Oops. Yeah, this is just crazy. And then starts to make its shift down and then starts to move towards that 29.20 area once again. 29.20 is a big area back here. Wow, are you guys seeing this? This is crazy. Okay, let me redraw that here. On the reopen, I apologize for this. On the open, we squeeze up on the secondary scenario. We expend the energy that's in the overnight point of control on the high side, push up, and then move back down, and then ultimately end up at 29.20 before the bounce and finish. Okay. Sorry, it's not working very well over here with this deal here, but you get the point. So the secondary scenario pushes the overnight high, moves towards the 54.50, pushes into that 56.75 area, turns over, comes back into the open, and then if it does, then I'm looking to be to hold a strong short with some tough areas, some support, but I'm looking for 29.20 as the key level below. I'll leave you with that. Good luck today, and I'll catch you. I'll catch you on Tuesday. I won't be here on Monday. It's a holiday. I'll catch you on Tuesday morning. Good luck. And by the way, if you have not reached out to EdgeClear to see what we can do for you in terms of brokerage, I would love for you to do that. I do need your support there as we are looking to kind of disrupt how brokerage is done. Please reach out to edgeclear.com since you're trading somewhere. Give us a shot, and I'd appreciate it. Take care.